Hi, this is Stacy Rowan from CustomBuiltLife.com, where we empower you to rewrite the rules you're living by because the rules you were given are no longer working. Today I want to talk to you about self-talk. Recently I heard someone talking about emotional abuse, and this got me thinking. One of the many problems with emotional abuse is that as the abuser continues to tell the person they're in the relationship with these stories about how awful they are, how no one else could love them, or whatever the abuse is, the person who's hearing these things, as they hear them over and over, eventually they begin to question if there's a chance that it can be true. And if they continue to hear these same things over and over, they will actually, in some cases, begin to believe them, which is why it makes it so hard to overcome, one of the reasons. And this got me thinking in terms of our self-talk, like I mentioned. I think a lot of us are abusive in our self-talk. We say things to ourselves that we would never in a million years say to another person, let alone a person we loved and cared about. And saying these things to ourselves is just as damaging because we begin to believe it and it affects how we see ourselves. So for instance, in the past I've been known to be challenged with time. I haven't been exactly good at showing up promptly where I need to be in certain situations. And as I was trying to change that behavior, I could be very harsh with myself. And if I was running late, I would start to berate myself and say, how could you do this again? How could you be late? How could you be so inconsiderate? Why can you never be on time? Well, if I believed I could never be on time, guess what? It was going to be very hard to be on time. So we have to be very careful with our self-talk and the image of ourselves that we're creating with that talk. So my challenge for you today is around your self-talk, and it's a 3-part challenge. So the first thing I want you to do is just pay attention to what you're saying to yourself. Our voice in our head goes on all day long, and oftentimes we're not really aware of what it's saying. But just because we're not aware of what it's saying, it doesn't mean that it's not impacting us, and it's not impacting our vision of ourselves and our self-worth and self-value. So make sure several times throughout the day, listen to what it is that you're saying to yourself. And the second part of the challenge is make a commitment to yourself. Make a commitment that you're not going to say anything to yourself inside your own head that you wouldn't say to someone that you loved, be it a best friend or a spouse or a child that's in your life. If you wouldn't say that out loud to another person, don't say it to yourself. And the third part of this, because none of us are perfect, you are going to notice sometimes when you're saying something that doesn't serve you and that you wouldn't say to another person. So commit that when that happens, to stop what you're saying and to reword it for yourself. So you can literally in your head say stop or cancel that and then reword it. And so if you make a mistake at something and you find yourself saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. How could I make a mistake? That is going to cost me so much money, or I'm such a loser. I can't believe I did that. Say stop, cancel that. I didn't mean that. Say, I'm human. All humans make mistakes, and I will fix this. And it's that easy. But it is important to essentially rewrite in your head what you're saying to yourself, because that will help you change the pattern of behavior. So really consider taking this challenge in your self-talk. Pay attention to what you're saying. Only say it if you would say it out loud to another person. And when you catch yourself saying something that's not so nice, change it and reword it. I would love to hear what this challenge means to you, how it changed your life, or even where you're struggling with it. So please feel free to send me an email at info@CustomBuiltLife, or leave some comments if it's something you're willing to share publicly, and let me know if you found it helpful and how you're doing with it. Thanks so much for joining me today. Bye-bye.